What's up, everyone? This is my African Affairs. I decided to just do a quick video to share some thoughts about we Africans. Um, for some reason, we always blame our leaders. We Africans, we always blame our leaders about the issues in Africa. We are right to some extent that our leaders are letting us down. They're messing up things for us and they're destroying the future for us. That's true. That's very true. But we have to remember that our leaders, they were once just like us. Once upon a time, the leaders that you see today, they were living in some village or some remote part of Africa. They were living somewhere. They didn't have the opportunity they have today. They were some of them were poor. Some leaders were fortunate. They were brought up by rich parents, but most of them were very poor. Most of the African leaders you see today were very poor. They had a very poor family that some of them even struggle to you know go to school. But look what is going on today in Africa. We all say that the learning is down, but my question is, what are we going to do in the future when we become leaders? Let's just say the leaders today have let us down and everything is messed up in Africa. But yes, whoever is watching me, you and I, what are we going to do in the future when we become leaders? The, the leaders that you see today, they'll be gone. Sooner or later, they'll be gone. But you and I, we are complaining about what are we going to do in the future when the leaders we see today are gone. It's something for us to think about. Okay, what I'm trying to get to is that in order for us to do something better for Africa and for our various African countries, we have to start thinking about where we came from. For instance, in our villages where we came from, when we are growing up, what do we see? There are issues in our villages, various villages, communities in Africa. We should be able to take note of that because sooner or later, one or someday we're going to be leaders. Are we going to have the people at heart for us to do something significant for our communities in Africa? We can blame the leaders now, but what I can tell you is that the leaders, they were once like us, and perhaps they're not doing anything good for us today because they don't remember where they came from. They don't care about the people. They don't have no love for their communities and wherever they came from. They didn't develop that love for the people in their villages. So, okay, let's just say they are not good. Leaders today are not good for us. We have to start building the leaders for the future because Africa, we need to worry about the future. What is going on right now, if you don't worry about what is happening, going to happen in the next 10, 20 years in Africa, you'll be in big trouble because I'm always worried about, like, as if I'm born, if I'm normal, the next 20, 30 years, what's going to happen? We need to start caring and we need to start changing our mindset and we need to start caring for our communities and we have to make change. The change is going to start from within. It's not from our leaders because the leaders, they started from somewhere in the village and now they are at the top. So you and I, what are we going to do if we get to be at the top too? What are we going to do? Are we going to repeat? Are we going to repeat what the leaders are doing right now? Let me give an example. Right now, if you are traveling in many parts of Africa countries, the, there are a lot of corruption at the airport, whereby people are and the customs are trying to extort money from you just to give a stamp in your passport. That's very bad. It's a disgrace to the country because at the entry point of a country, you are trying to extort money from tourists or visitors. That's very sad. I'll give you an example, like Ghana. If you, now it's a little bit better than like about 4 years ago. It was worse. If you're traveling and you get there, these people, customers are trying to ask you for money, and to me that's very sad that they have to do that. Like I say, okay, their pay is not good. Some that's the excuse that we always get that they are not being paid well. That's why they're doing that. Fine, if you're not being paid well, and you are trying to extort money from people that are entering the country, but you turn around to blame your leaders that they are not doing nothing in your communities or they're not doing nothing for the country. Okay, you are extorting money from someone because your pay is not good. No, that's bad. That's bad. So someone like you, if you get to the top, if you get to become a leader of the country, or you get to be an MP, member of parliament for your community, you're gonna represent your community. What are you going to do? All you're gonna be thinking about is bribe, 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 bribe. You're not gonna care about doing something for your people without taking a bribe, and you're not gonna be able to do nothing, of course. So this message is just something to think about. I wanted to just send a message across for those of you who have ears to hear and those who really care for the motherland and have love for their country and want to make a change. I don't want to hear people. I'm tired of hearing people just complain about leaders are bad, blah 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 blah. Okay, they are bad. Fine, we all understand that they're bad. They're corrupt. But what are we going to do? You and I, what are we going to do when we get to the same level? When we get to the top, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna repeat? You need to think about that. Okay, there's so much hypocrisy going on in Africa where people, even people from the church, from the religious folks, they wanna go to prayer camp, blah 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 blah. But when they get to the office, public office, they want to take bribe. If you go to the office to look for someone, they will tell you that the person is not available just because that you didn't tip them or didn't give them no bribe. That's bad. We need to change. We need to change. Otherwise, we should not blame our leaders because, like I said, the leaders were once just like us. They started somewhere. Some of them were living in the village, in the remote part of uh, Africa, in the various countries. They were living in the remote. They just happened to get a chance, get opportunity. Some of them campaign and beg the people in their community to vote for them. So when they get to the parliament, they're gonna do something better for the community. But when they got there, they forgot about the people. Why? It's because they don't have no love for the people. They only care about their selfish gains, and they don't have the people at heart. If they did, they would not do that. Trust me. If you have a love for your people and you love for your country, you will not do something stupid to hurt them. Like you care, you make sure you put some basic necessities in place for them. For instance, electricity, water, uh, clinics, just some basic things need to be there. And if you get to the top and you don't care, you're more than a devil, or you're not being human. See, so like I'm saying, the leaders started from somewhere. You're gonna blame them, but they're already there. So we're trying to go up, right? We're trying to go up. What are we gonna do when we get up there? You and I need to think and just be smart and need to care for the people. Stop talking trash all the time. I mean, I'm not siding with the leaders. I hate the leaders being corrupt, but the fact is, if you talk about solving corruption or removing corruption from the system and moving our various countries forward and helping improve the lives of the people on the continent, then we need to change our mindset. We need to change our thinking. We need to change our thinking. Okay, we need to change the way we think. The blame is not always going to be on our leaders. It's us. I mean, after all, we voted for them, right? You and I voted for them to go there. So even in some African communities, these people before they go to before they become leaders, they bribe people. So you also corrupt. You are corrupt. You took a bribe. You took a bag of rice. You took a kind of milk, and you voted for someone just to be at the top. And when they got there, they don't care. So we need to change our thinking again. The change has to start from us, from those at the bottom. We need to once we change our thinking, even though if a revolution is gonna start, it's gonna start from the bottom. Revolution never start from the top. Okay, revolution always starts from the bottom. Those people who are suffering, who are they are the ones who always do a revolution. Okay, so that should tell you something that you and I, if you want to change, then we got to change our mindset. Caring for our people and caring for our country is what's gonna change, make a difference. So if you're not thinking about changing yourself and stop being corrupt and stop trying to be so money conscious and trying to take bribe here and there, if you're working at the public office, police officer, or you're a secretary at some sort of like a law firm or whatever, all you think about is bribe. Stop that. Stop that. If you because one day you're gonna be a leader, you're gonna be a president, or one day you're gonna be a member of parliament, and you're gonna be doing the same thing over there, and the people are gonna keep suffering, and it's gonna be like a cycle. It just keep spinning. Okay, this is just a short message. All right. I'll put information in the description box about African Affairs website and African Affairs radio station where you can listen to non-stop African music. All right. So take care and see you next time.